Hi everyone, we are here with Professor Francesca Marchetta. The professor is an assistant professor at CERDI, University of Bern. Her research interests include migration, the role of small and medium enterprises in economic development, households' livelihood strategies, and transition to adulthood of young women in Africa. Professor, thank you so much for being here with us today. So first, could you tell us briefly about the paper you just presented? What were the main results?
Yeah, so I presented a paper that analyzes the impact of weather events. Weather events mean the rainfall and the hurricanes on the schooling and work decision for young adults in Madagascar. So basically the idea is that when an extreme weather event occurs, households, families can decide to make children work in their land or out of the family. So if there is a negative event, we could observe child work. But also we can observe that children drop out of school because of that. So basically, our hypothesis is that when you observe negative weather events, like for example, bad rain or an hurricane or a flood, you could have child work and you could have children that drop out from school. On the opposite, you could expect the inverse when the rainfall shock or the weather shock is positive. I mean, you have more rain, the agricultural season is quite positive, you have a positive income effect, and so you make your children enrolled in school, and probably it will not work. The effect of work, I mean, what we observe in our data, and so what we have in our paper is that this income effect prevails, and so we really observe that when you have a positive weather event, child enrollment increases and child labor decreases. And we also find that when the locality where the children live is hit by a hurricane, the school enrollment decreases. Okay.
What was your main motivation to start studying this topic?
To be honest, there are two different motivations. From one side, I had very nice data on Madagascar because I worked on the data collection of this individual data set on Madagascar in 2011. So I worked with this data, I knew the data. And on the other side, why I had the idea to put this data in connection with rainfall, because I read an article on a newspaper, it's Le Monde in France, that described the situation, very difficult situation in Madagascar, especially in the south of the country, where because of El Niño, from 2014-2015, there is a severe drought, and so the households there are they have a lot of problems in dealing with everything, basically. Okay. And so this is why I thought it could be interesting to put in relationship the weather events and schooling and working decision for this country in particular.
Okay, and so the results were the ones that you expected?
Yes or not. I mean, yes, in a sense, because I expected this income effect. But so for schooling, yes. I mean, I expected to find that when you have more rainfall, children go to school. When you have a very bad year in terms of rainfall, children are not in schooling. Yes. What I didn't, I mean, I didn't have a clear hypothesis on the effect on work, because since the context is mainly a rural context, often you observe that in this kind of context, when the households are engaged in agricultural activities, when the agricultural season is quite good, family could decide to ask their children to work with them on the land. So there are some papers who find I would say a positive effect on child labor of positive rainfall or positive weather events. So the effect on labor was really, I didn't know. I mean, I didn't expect a clear result.
Okay. And can we derive some policy implications from these findings?
I don't know. I think that the policy implication is quite self-evident. I mean, if we are able to demonstrate that weather conditions are important for schooling, especially, and for child labor, it means that policymakers should be very careful about what and how they can intervene to avoid this negative effect on school, especially when we observe that when there is an hurricane or when there is a drought, children drop off from school. This is in this period. It is necessary to be quite attentive and to maybe propose also other alternatives in order to avoid, or maybe in order to ask households to re-enroll children, because what we observe is that in Madagascar is that when children drop off from school, it's difficult that they re-enroll the year after. But it is possible, of course. So this could be something interesting in terms of, for policymakers to work on. To convince families that first to propose alternatives. Second, to tell them that re-enrollment is possible, that it's good for their children. So if they had a bad year, they could still come back at school. The children can come back to school the year after.
Okay, great. It was very interesting. Thank you so much.
It's normal that is played.
Yeah.
Okay.